sixth highest total in Pitt history. What was just clicking today?
I think the big thing for us was just being a lot more efficient on first down. We struggled last week. We were behind the sticks a lot, and that's something that when you get to this level, I mean, you just can't do. You can't be in second and third and longs, and we had a lot of unforced penalties last week, and just a lot of dumb mistakes, and that was and I mean, it starts with me. I mean, I took a lot of sacks last week, and I think we had 0 this week.
Yep.
It's a lot better. So that helps for sure. But it's just like I said, just starting fast. I think that's a big thing for us. And obviously, I mean, our first drives we've been doing a lot better, really well with that. And just like I said, just being efficient for sure.
Mason, after the game last week, you talked about learning from Syracuse. What did you learn from that game, and what did you carry into this week?
I think the big thing that I learned from this past week, and I still don't think we played up to the standard that we can play at, and that starts with me. And there were definitely a lot of plays to be made where I tried to do too much and held on to the ball, and was fortunate enough to not take those sacks this week and just throw the ball away. But I got to be better at just taking what the defense gives me and checking it down. There are times where I try and do too much and try and extend the play when hey, we got a guy in the flats that's open and we can take 5 to 6 yards on first down and just move on. So we got some things to clean up, but this is a big bounce back week for us, and we're happy, but we're not satisfied.
Basically, you break down that 84-yard bomb to the blue, just how that play developed, and what did you see kind of split second wise?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, no, that was something that we were talking about in the huddle, that we knew with that formation that we were in, that we were going to get this kind of coverage, and it was beautiful. I remember right before we snapped the ball, I looked at the sideline at Coach Bell, and I'm like, oh, this is beautiful. This should be a touchdown. And Blue does a great job of winning. We have great protection up front, and it just makes my job easy. Just put it out there and let a guy who's just an absolute baller in Blue Hicks just go make a play. And we did that, and it was awesome. It was very exciting, and just got to keep it rolling for sure.
Mason, how would you describe your relationship with Cade and how it's grown, especially over the last 4 weeks here?
Oh, absolutely. I think Coach Bell and I have a wonderful relationship, and it starts with him recruiting me and getting me to come here is a big thing. I mean, he believed in me when not a lot of people did. And that just shows how good of a coach he is and how great of a person he is. But the past 4 weeks, like you said, it's just, I mean, he pushes me to be better every week, and that's something where you have a little bit of success, you can't get complacent. I mean, there was a lot of things to clean up, and even today, I mean, there were a lot of things that I didn't do, and that I have to be better at, and he jumped me a little bit for it, but that's who he is, and that's what he expects of me, and I expect that of him as well. Because I'm hard on myself, but he's just as hard on me too. And so that's something that with the relationship that we have, he trusts me and I trust him to put the ball in my hands, but also just to do the right thing with the ball. Like when they play deep, just hit the ball down, and that's something I got to work on. And he lets me know for sure. But that's the great thing about our relationship. It's awesome. I love playing for Coach Bell.
Mason, all of NC State's penalties were either on third down or 15-yard penalties. How helpful is that when your offense was riding as long as it was, and when you got tricky situations,
they helped you out? Yeah, absolutely. No, those penalties definitely help for sure. I mean, there were times where we were in third and mediums, and we get helped out with a penalty, and I think that's a testament to our guys playing hard. 100%. They had a couple holding penalties and face masks, all that kind of stuff. They're just being aggressive. I get that 100%. But those are fortunate for sure. There were a couple times where I got lucky with a penalty as well. That interception that I could come for holding. That's a dumb mistake, and that can't happen. But we learn from it, and we move on, and we get better, and we take those penalties when we get them. They help for sure.
Kenny had 112 yards today. You guys, how has your relationship progressed? Because you guys have seemed to have a pretty good connection since you've been starting.
Absolutely. Kenny, I mean, all of our receivers are phenomenal, and they do a great job of creating separation and understanding what routes they need to run, what depth they need to get to, and Kenny's a very great example of that, of just trusting the system and just trusting what he does and the work that he puts in week in and week out. And even going through a quarterback change, these guys have been nothing but supportive of the offense, and they work their tails off. And like I say a lot, that makes my job really easy, because I can trust them to be in the correct spots and make a play and just be dudes. So just like you said, him and I have a great connection. But I mean, all the receivers are just absolutely balling out right now, and it's great. It's great for us for sure.
Mason, when did you know how personal this was for Lyndon?
We talked about that earlier in the week. I remembered when we kind of had our meetings that Coop used to play at NC State, and I didn't really know like the backstory of how or what was going on with that. But it's when it's something personal for Coop, and and that's something big for him. It's personal for all of us because we're a family and we're a brotherhood here, and I'm glad we could just come out and get a win. I mean, that's a tough team. They're really talented offensively and defensively, and it's great to be able to get that dub for not only the university but for Coop, because that, like you said, that is a personal game for him, and I'm just glad that we were able to come out with a dub.
Mason, most passing yards by a freshman, Pitt quarterback in a single game for you tonight. What does that mean to you?
It's funny. I was talking to one of the quarterbacks about that. That's great, but there were a lot of plays that we left out on the field, and there were a lot of things that we need to clean up, and a lot of mistakes that I made personally that it's got to be fixed. And those are the things that we learn from, and we watch film, and we get better from, and we move on for next week, and just take that and get better. And it's great, the accolades and all that kind of stuff, but I just want to win, and coming out with a dub, that's all that matters, and we're moving on to next week. Enjoy this one tonight.
Sorry, Jim, last one.
Obviously NC State, people look at the box score, 445 yards, 34 points, but what can you say about your defense, just keeping you guys in the game, getting stops?
The defense played absolutely lights out, and Coach Deuce talked a lot about just minimizing those big plays, and they had a couple in the first half, but the defense just absolutely fought their tails off, and that makes the offensive job a lot easier, because that creates momentum for us, and when we get great field positions as well, that helps. And we had the ball. It felt like 5 different times in the second half where we were outside of the 40, going in their territory or 40 plus. So it's just, that makes it a heck of a lot easier for us. But they played really hard, and we're dealing with a lot of injuries on that defensive side. So the guys that came up, they stepped up in a huge way. So that's all you can ask for in a defense, and we're excited to continue to get better and get a lot of our guys healthy for sure.
Mason, thank you.